for what someday we found. Keep up with the suffering, and if we try to escape, then we'll go back to the chase of finding where you do play, inextricably, inevitably, to be with you. Intuition to fruition, the past let's go. Waves were surfing on your ocean, will wash up on your shore. Yes, the truth does set us free. Help accept what we have been. And that's something that we dreamed. And when we are to survive, and remember we are wise, may our powers try their best, illicitly, inevitably, to move with you, to move with you, to live with you, to move with you, to live with, to live with, to live with you, to move with, to move with, to move with you, to live with, to live with, to live with you, to flow with, to flow with, to flow with you. With you, to move with you, to live with you, to move with you, to live with you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. We are blessed to be together this morning, and I'm so grateful that we have Monica Garcia-Medina with us today, who not so long ago was singing opera in Germany, and now she's writing music and sharing her brilliant creativity with the world. And we're blessed to have her with us today. As some of you know, we have a theme for the year. It's 2020 Vision. And for August, and this is the last Sunday in August, it is Inclusion in Action. Today, the topic is Living from Oneness. And we have a special guest that I will introduce in a moment. What I want to talk about today is that grief is something very real in our life experience. And how when we bring it together with love, because we grieve, because we love, healing can happen. And when healing happens, oneness is revealed. And oneness becomes our guidance in our actions. So my name is Frankie Timmers, and I'm the spiritual director here at Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching from, or whenever you're watching, because we do rebroadcast this on Facebook, of course, and on YouTube. We'd like you to start a watch party, share our video with anyone you think will be inspired and nourished, and say hello. Let us know where you are, where you're from. If you have any questions that we can use for later talks, use the bubbles underneath, and check out our website, which is www.cslmorristown.org for more information. So now I want to introduce a very special soul. This man has been on a deeply spiritual journey for a long time, and he has been with us for a while taking classes. And Michael Mallack is also one of our Leadership Council members. Michael will be sharing a brief spiritual practice this morning and go right into the opening treatment. So let's welcome Michael Mallack.
Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well on this beautiful Sunday and trying to find as much peace among anything else that's out there as you possibly can, because we all need to project that, and this teaching is a beautiful way to understand that and to grasp that. And so just to send that home a little bit, I'm going to just give us a little bit of a meditation to start off the day and just kind of get us in the right mindset to feel this talk and feel the sense of unity that we have to portray to the world, because it's so incredibly important for us to be unified now, and that's what our message is about today. So I'd like to invite all of you to close your eyes. Just take a deep breath. And imagine with me that you're outdoors somewhere in your happy place where you find the most solitude, the most peace, and space to release anything that weighs heavily on your soul. Just take a deep breath, hold it in for about 7 seconds. And just let it out. Just release all the tension, anything that's going on in your week, in your life, anything with anybody, any sadness. Just focus on the joy, focus on that sense of peace within. Perhaps you feel the breeze blowing or the sun warming your face in this spot. Or maybe you hear the waves crashing, or you hear birds chirping, or crickets enmeshed in song behind you. And just stay in that place for a moment. Just find that space in the silence, that space in the peace. In that moment, all feels right with the world, and you know that you're one with this beauty. This beauty and this love are all that exists right here and right now. So there's a beautiful space, a heartbeat, the very essence of life in which we all reside. We are each the microcosm within the macrocosm, the lifeblood of God in the deepest parts of our soul. In this place where there is never separation, where there is perfect love that always exists, the most beautiful visions of creation emerge and launch forward in a vortex of freedom and free-flowing life. The best life has to offer is yet to come, never the opposite. As we heighten our awareness, deepen our inclusion among one another, and birth an evolution of the all of humanity. We are one, we are one, we are always one. And now I put forth the call to more gratitude in our hearts, more fortitude in our minds, and more confidence with our intuition to act in accordance with the world in which we desire. One of more truth, more trust, pristine health, and a consciousness of oneness. Knowing this is so, and knowing this vision is now within the ever-present responsive law of creation, please join me in saying, and so it is. Thank you very much. Turn this back over to Frankie.
Michael, thank you so much. Beautiful Michael brings this richness and depth to us in a way that can truly heal us. So, living from oneness. I am grieving. I am grieving. And you may be as well, because to me, it seems that everyone is grieving. There's been a huge change in the world. We've lost loved ones and people we know, or maybe losing loved ones, people we love deeply. Our nation, world is so divided, and violence is bursting out, which, by the way, I think is ungrieved grief. And then there's our beautiful Mother Earth. She's on fire. She's being flooded. Our human brothers and sisters are suffering because of it, but so are the four-legged ones, the winged ones, and all of our beautiful trees and flowers and plants. And then there is, of course, racial injustice in 2020 that is just unbelievable. A friend of mine has family from Lebanon because that's where they're from. It's just horrendous what has just recently happened there that makes me grieve. And then not seeing you in this space, not being together in this space now for over 5 months. All reasons to grieve. Now, for me, I am not afraid of grief. I've had my share and plenty of loss in the past, some of you know. It's not something that I tend to avoid because I know the cost of avoidance of grief. And so do you, because you may notice it in traffic, how aggressive people are. You may notice it in a rise of addictions. You may notice it in your own physical body, feeling that antsiness that something isn't right. Violence and the earth just seeming to be on fire. That is all this, the outcome of grief ungrieved. Because when we grieve, something exquisite happens. And I have discovered that grief can be so beautiful and so exquisite because it is in grief that we have to be in the moment. It's where we discover that our personal life and ourselves intersect. It's where we are most present because we cannot be anywhere else. It's where we are the least guarded and shielded and the most open. And it is where we experience oneness in a way that maybe we cannot experience in any other way. It's also where we feel most vulnerable, and most people are not comfortable with vulnerability. We cover it right up. It is where life becomes incredibly tender and maybe how it should be. Because in that, we discover the sacredness of each other, of ourselves, of every moment of life, of our planet, of each other, and so on. And so that is, I believe, because grief is intrinsically connected with love. If I don't love, then I probably won't grieve. If I don't love this planet or love you or love a loved one that's making their transition or love my job when I lose it, if I don't love it, I won't grieve for it. So grief and love are deeply connected. And we have to allow ourselves to grieve when we grieve so we can arrive at love. So I imagine that, and I experienced this in my meditation the other day. I imagine that as if I hold grief in one hand and love in the other hand. I'm talking about love of other, love of self, love of spirit, spirit's love for its creation, and then I take them together and place them in my heart. So do that with me for a moment. Have one hand and place grief in there, whether it's the loss of a loved one, the impending loss of a loved one, your grief for our planet, for our country, for our culture, for each other. And then in the other hand, just place the love that you have for all that and then some. And then place both of them into your heart. And that's where you listen. And that's where you wait until you receive guidance, wisdom, or you feel the heartbeat of the universe inside your heart. And then you follow that. Follow what comes, not question it, not censor it, but just follow what comes because it leads to what's next. When we look at what humanity is experiencing, loss, separation, divisiveness, violence, the earth being destroyed, we must take responsibility. And each of us are responsible. I mean, I bought a plastic something yesterday. I ordered something from Amazon. It was in a plastic bag. I get gasoline for my car, right? So each of us are responsible. We have to become more responsible consumers. We have to become more responsible what we put on and in our bodies. We have to become more responsible in how we think about somebody who thinks differently from us, and so on and so on. And that's the invitation to live from oneness of all life, the connection to all life. Because the heart already knows, but we don't always take the time to listen because we're so busy. We have things to do, right? But we must stay in a place of listening long enough to be guided and then act on that guidance. I think all of us want the world to change, but we cannot think that that change is going to happen when something outside of us changes. We have to remember that the change we want is really the change that we are, the change that we must be. And it starts within our consciousness. And we don't always like the change. It's easier to point fingers, right? And I love that Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. And so right now, we are in a massive evolutionary shift. I've been talking about it for months. That massive evolutionary shift is because the dividedness was so far that something had to happen to bring us together. And right now, it doesn't look good. But sometimes things get worse before they get better. And so that's where the invitation comes in to say, well, what's my part in it? What separation in me do I need to heal so that I can be a conscious part of establishing oneness? We are birthing something new. And those of us who are on the spiritual path are in a hard way, in a powerful way, in a glorious way, being called to be a part of establishing the oneness. And maybe not for today, maybe not even in our lifetime, but we must do it for those who come behind us, our children, grandchildren, each other's children and grandchildren. And so we have to notice our resistance. We have to notice where and how we are resistant to oneness, because the reason there is no oneness is because we've lived in separation. And it gives us something, it has a payoff that we might not want to give up. Ernest Holmes so beautifully says, It seems to me that it is only as we view all life, everything from what we call great to what we call small, important, or unimportant. It is only as we view the whole thing as one stupendous whole, whose body nature is with God the soul, that we shall really enter into communion, into sympathetic oneness and rapport with the reality of all that is about us. And so the question is, who are we as a spiritual community? Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. Who are we as an organization, Centers for Spiritual Living? Who are you as a spiritual being, someone who is on a spiritual path? We are called for sure to lift ourselves up, to lift each other up, to rise up in truth, to stand for the truth no matter what is happening, no matter how much grief you are experiencing. You can grieve, but bring in the love so that you arrive at the place of truth and so that you can then live from the oneness in and with truth. To up your consciousness in whatever way feels right for you, whether it's a teeny tiny bit or massively. It's not about that. It's that we're doing that. And to prove these glorious spiritual principles that have worked for me for over 30 years, and I know for many of you for a very long time. So I want to close with a reading from this month's Science of Mind magazine, which has been absolutely amazing. If you can still get a hold of it, pick it up, because the readings this month by Tracy Brown have been profound. I just want to close with another quote from Ernest Holmes that she put on Friday, August 28th, by Ernest Holmes from Can We Talk to God? The greatest good, which our mind is able to conceive, should be affirmed as a part of our everyday experience. From such daily meditation, we should venture forth into a life of action with the will to do, the determination to be, and a joy in becoming. And I want to read it again. The greatest good which our mind is able to conceive should be affirmed as a part of our everyday experience. From such daily meditation, we should venture forth into a life of action with the will to do, the determination to be, and a joy in becoming. And now we have Monica share with us some more music.
Inspired by Frankie's wonderful talk and message, I will be playing and singing my composition, White's the Minority. Je m'aime. I love me. Me quiero. Ya lubiu sebia. Wa aizeji. My manu. Piara karadaham. Don't hate me 'cause I'm white. 'Cause it doesn't make it right. Racism goes both ways. Look inside your hate. I need me to love me now. I need you to love you now. I need me to love you now. I need you to love me now. We're one in that embrace that holds us all in place. Her hunger makes me sick. His healthy road's my pain. He needs to love him now, says his heart. She needs to love her now, says her heart. He needs to love her now. She needs to love him now. To one love, to one place, to one time. They come from outer space. We don't know what they'll say, but they can't take away the way we interlace. They need to love them now, says their hearts. We need to love us now, says our hearts. They need to love us now. We need to love them now. Karera, wakarera, o aishiteru, hum yuhipurahu, vean sapiar kartahen, taratader bahalabashen. They love them.
Ah, yes, Monica. We need to love them now. We need to love each other now. Love is the saving grace for our body, mind, heart, soul, for each other, for our world. So I want to share a couple of things that are happening at the center very briefly, and then I will do a closing treatment for us, a healing treatment for us and our planet and our people and our animals. So we would like for you to share what we're doing here at Center for Spiritual Living Morristown on your social media platforms. We are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we have a private page, a public page. We are on our website, so seek us out, Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. Share with everybody that you know. And we're also on Meetup and, of course, YouTube, which this will be broadcast on as well. We have something really wonderful happening every Wednesday night. It's called the Art of Spiritual Living, because really life is an art. It's a spiritual art. It's from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So that's Jersey time, and we send out the Zoom link for that. If you are not receiving our emails, let us know. We'll put you on our list, or we'll send you the Zoom link. It's just an hour and a half to be together in spiritual practice, sharing and support. And then we have a brand new class that we've sent out, and it will keep sending it out to you, but it's called Revealing Wholeness. It's a class that our beloved Reverend Janice Ballara is teaching. It starts on September 30th, exactly a month from now. So you have a whole month to decide. And it is a brand new class created by Centers for Spiritual Living. And it is called Revealing Wholeness in These Evolving Times. And the course really explores the idea of quantum physics and how the mind works. It's a 7-week class, and it is from let me see, 7 to 9 p.m. Or if we have enough people, we'll do a day class, which would be 10:30 to 12:30. The evening class is Wednesday evenings, and the day class is Thursday mornings. So let us know if you're interested. So now I invite you again to take your left hand, place in all that you are aggrieved with. Open your right hand, place in there the universal love that is ever available for its creation, and place both on your heart. So right here, right now, I know there is a power and a presence that is greater than I am. And when I say I, me, my, I speak from and to the divine self in each and every one of us, in all of creation. I know this presence because it functions my body. It takes care of every sunrise and sunset and the changes of the seasons, which we might be noticing now that summer is coming to an end and fall is around the corner for us. There's never a way that it's the other way around. And so that's the infinite intelligence that governs all of life. And today I am so tuned in that I see it operating in my body, my mind, my heart, my soul, and therefore my world. I don't focus on what I haven't done yet, or what isn't good enough yet, or what isn't right with the world. I focus on what's possible. I focus on how miraculous my life is. I focus on all that is sacred in and around me. And the more I do, the more it expands, and the more it expands, the more it shows up in the world. And I see it showing up in the healing of humanity, the healing of our planet, and the shift in consciousness, the evolutionary shift in consciousness to greater oneness. Because oneness has always existed and always will. But now I see it showing up in a way that cultivates healing everywhere, in everyone, everything. That's the vision I hold. I am ready for what I am called to be and do in the world as a spiritual being, as somebody who's conscious, somebody who's aware, and who continues to grow and expand it as such. And so I trust today that all is unfolding in divine right action, that the highest and best that I bring is the highest and best enough for now, that inner guidance always shows me the way, and love always speaks in my heart of what is mine to be and do. So with awe and gratitude, I let this word go. I turn it over to the universal law, and I know that it knows exactly how to demonstrate it in the highest and best ways for now and forevermore. And so it is. Many blessings to all of you. Thank you for being with us in whatever way you are with us today. Know you are loved. And here we have Monica again.
My last offering today is called Butterflies, and it's inviting transformation.